tireless worker and a woman who is very much responsible for it being on the west side of Chicago and making sure that the community is involved from day one on this project, and that is Alderman Emma Mitz. Alderman Mitz.
Thank you, and thank all of you for joining us today. Welcome to our first construction outreach seminar. Even during this time, it is very important that we work together and get this right. This is a vision. This is a project that we have not seen before in the city of Chicago, the state of Illinois, or perhaps the United States of America. That resonated with me once we pursued to obtain this project in the ward, that we have an opportunity to get it right. And when I mean getting it right, from top to bottom. So we're welcoming all trades, everyone who wish to get involved, whether it's not by a trade or you just want to be engaged, we welcome you. I want to thank all of you for the hard work that's been put forth. Shout out to our community partners who've been diligently working through the process to get us to this point, the city of Chicago. And let me not forget our executive team, who's been instrumental and from the very beginning. Now we have our community liaison team. So, and having all these entities, I think this is going to be one of the best. If you know anything about a feeling, you call things into being. So with that said, I'm going to welcome you today to this event, and I know you're going to take something back. And if you can't use it, you may lose it, but give it to someone else. So thank you all very much for having me, and looking forward to working along with each and every one of you.
Daryl, you're on mute.
I'm sorry. Alderman, I want to thank you, and I would be remiss if I didn't say that everybody that is participating in today's event wants to thank you for your leadership on this project. So please accept those not condolences, but those congratulatory remarks. And with that, we are going to hear right now from individuals that actually are going to be trained here. It is a pleasure right now to bring forth Commander Cato as well as Superintendent Ford. Do we have Commander Cato or Superintendent Ford available to speak right now?
Hey, Daryl, I don't think that they were able to make it on, unfortunately. So we can go right ahead and add them, continue with the program. Thank you.
Not a problem. We will go right now over to Emily. And Emily, it's a pleasure to have you joining us to speak. So Emily, please take the floor and introduce yourself and what is your responsibility.
Hello, everyone. My name is Emily Stokes, and I am a resident of the 37th Ward. Community members have been engaged in this project since the first announcement. Yes, on both sides of the issue. But today, the ward is excited about the project. It represents a vision of hope and years of activism. The 37th Ward residents and stakeholders believe that in working together, we will see progress. The success of the campus and other local development projects creates opportunities and ignites a renewed sense of hope in equity and community values. It's exciting to be a part of this time. So let's start building.
I like that. And that was a very timely presentation that you made. First of all, Emily, we also want to thank you and your team and your colleagues there for being a voice in the community. And the slide that you see right now is an introduction of our team. And it is a team that has been working tirelessly to inform you and also make sure that we are transparent in the information that we're presenting with you today. Once again, all of the webinar is going to be recorded. And as it is being recorded, you'll be able to use it as a tool to make sure that you're prepared to participate in this very exciting program. It's my pleasure right now, as we move along, to introduce to you Sean Newhart, who is going to speak.
Yes, hi, my name is Sean Newhart. I am an architect and project manager with the City of Chicago's Department of Assets, Information, and Services. I am the one who is in charge of this project in terms of the design and construction from the city side. Are you able to bring up the slide here? There we go. Of this project. So I will try and be concise in the respective time. So a quick project overview, as Daryl pointed out earlier, this is a very unique project. This project is going to be home to training for first responders from the police department and fire department, both new cadets and in-service recruits. It is going to be a 24/7 facility, so there will always be a presence on site. The design has been a work in progress with the community, with our end stakeholders, the police and fire department. This view here you're seeing of the building was led primarily by the community and Alderman Mitz, and it is responsive to what the community wants. So this part of the building you're seeing right here is what you will be seeing every day along Chicago Avenue. This is where the main architectural money will be spent, will be this presence along Chicago Avenue. As you go back in the building towards the back of the site is where you get to more of the training elements. So when you see in this image here, you can see it's more of a boxy shape, and it's more kind of a more simple structure, because these are all the training elements where police and fire go through all kinds of drills. And so what you see here is, just kind of the overview of the site that will be occurring in this phase one. You'll see obviously the main building, the main parking lot, and then the grading of the site. There are a couple other phases that will be coming down the road in the future, but the image you see here is everything that will be constructed in phase one. The timing of this, we plan on breaking ground before the end of the year, and with a completion date approximately 18 months or so later, so somewhere around Q3 of 2022. And we are, getting ready to start submitting stuff for building permit. So this project is a reality. It is happening. I can't stress enough the help we've received from Alder Mitz in the community. So this thing is a reality. So with that being said, I'll turn it over to the next speaker.
Indeed. Well, first of all, Sean, we want to thank you for all of your work. Very quickly, what did you find most rewarding about this piece, working on it?
So far, it's getting to know the community. I got to go on the bus tour that we went on last February. I remember seeing you making the video of it, just getting to meet everybody kind of in more of an informal setting where we had lunch afterwards, and just getting to hear how this is a real opportunity for the community who hasn't seen anything built of this size and in the community in a long time.
Well, we thank you for your efforts there. It is a pleasure right now to introduce you to Tony Graham. Tony, tell us what you do.
Hi, Daryl. Thanks a lot. Again, my name is Tony Graham, and I'm part of the joint venture. Just to highlight, to let you guys know that there are requirements on this project, M&W requirements. Is 28% MBE and 8% WBE. And also, we are only accepting the City of Chicago and Cook County certifications.
Well, that sounds very good. Quick question for you. Some of our participants may be wondering, is that a combined WMBE, MBE total of what, some 36% that you're looking at?
That is correct. It's
Okay.
a combined 36%.
Now, when we talk about certification, what are we speaking of there?
City of Chicago certification or Cook County certification only. We don't accept the other CMSs or anything like that.
I'm just asking this question so that way people don't have to ask it. And you were very pithy in your presentation there. Are there services available for people to go through that certification process where they can receive assistance?
Yes, I believe the joint venture is assisting subcontractors get through the process.
Yeah, I see Casey shaking her head. We want to tell people that we're really trying to empower you as a subcontractor to take it to the next level. So
as part of Broadway Group, the community liaison group, they have brought on board West Side Forward, who can act as a resource to some of the subcontracting community to help with that effort.
Excellent. Well, that's good.
And we can as well as part of the JV.
Fabulous. Well, thank you so much, Tony. And
Thank
right
you.
now, it's a pleasure to introduce Rufus Pulpus. Rufus. Rufus, are you there with us? What we'll do as we're waiting for Rufus, what we'll do is that we will go on right now. He has a presentation. We will go back to his slides, but you've heard her
Daryl,
earlier.
I can jump on.
Okay, well, why don't you
for
do that for
Rufus?
Rufus?
Although I think he just signed back on. Rufus, can you take this slide?
I'm here.
Okay, go
I'm
ahead.
good.
Take this
Yeah.
slide.
Sorry about that. My computer rebooted.
Okay,
Here we
Rufus.
go here. All right. Greetings. Good afternoon, everyone. Today, I'm pleased to bring you an update on bid packages for our joint public training academy. Our bid package 1 is a category in fire. The range will be between mid-October of this year. We're looking at mechanical. Our bid package 2, which is our site work, timing will be early November. We got a list of earthwork, caissons, concrete retaining work, concrete foundation, underground electrical enabling, underground stormwater detention, underground water, firing range, equipment, waterproof, and asphalt. Later on in the project, bid package 3, which is our core and shell. This will happen late November. And following that will be board, which is the balance of all trades, and that'll happen mid-December. And it's a nice list of opportunities for everyone on that one as well. I'm with the joint venture if I skipped over that.
Okay, we're losing some of your audio there. Are you still talking there, Rufus? Looks like you're frozen.
No.
Okay, and did you want to mention bid 4-pack? Because I think we left off there at bid 3.
Yeah, I was just letting you know bid package 4 is happening mid-December. But the first 2 bid packages are what we're trying to highlight, which is bid package 1 and 2, the site work and the firearm practice.
Okay.
3 and 4 will happen later on in the project.
Excellent. Well, we appreciate you there, Rufus.
Okay.
Moving on right now to Casey Mathena, and she's going to talk about the pre-qualification process. Casey?
All right, thanks, Daryl. My name is Casey. I work with the joint venture team. We do have a pre-qualification process on this project, and we use the trade tap system. I know a lot of the subcontracting community is familiar with trade tap. But if folks are interested in becoming pre-qualified, it's as simple as reaching out to one of us. We will provide contact information at the end of the presentation, or going to the website and requesting a link be sent to you. So it's really very simple to get access to that process. Pre-qualification goal is really to get an intake of the market and understand what the market looks like so that we can collectively work on right-sizing some of these packages in ways that makes sense. It's truly not intended to be exclusionary. So I want to make that point clear. That being said, we do look at 4 primary categories. The first is integrity. The second is safety. Third is financials. And finally, we look at the ability to perform. So if one of these categories, with the exception of integrity, doesn't pan out, our first course of action would be to work with contractors on, a potential mitigation plan that may be palatable to the project. So that's really the goal. That being said, we do have about 3 to 4 tutorial sessions that we're planning between now and January to help people through that pre-qualification process. Feel free to not wait for that to happen.
Yes.
If you do, get the link to pre-qualify and you have hangups, reach out to any of us, and we have some folks standing by that can help you through that process. So don't let that stop you from starting the process. And really, that's about it. Like I mentioned earlier, we do have Westside Forward also as a resource to work with subcontractors, and that's what I got.
Well, I think that it's important to note that this particular webinar is being recorded. So if you are a subcontractor and you're concerned about fulfilling all of the requirements of the pre-qualification process, we have support services here for you. In addition to what Casey talked about with regard to 2 future events that are going to happen probably virtually, the way things are with COVID-19, is that we also are here in a very real sense during the entire business week to answer any questions you may have. And you can just contact Kendall Williamson. His email is right there. So don't worry about having to write it down, even though you would be wise to write it down. The fact is that we are recording this and we will send it out as well as the PowerPoint presentation. So that way you have all of the information that we're giving to you, and you'll be able to view it at your leisure to make sure that any questions that aren't addressed today can be addressed. So that way this process is as inclusive and as fluid and representative of your needs. It is a pleasure right now to introduce Ed Coleman, who is speaking on behalf of Roxanne Charles. Ed, take it away.
Thank you, Daryl. My name is Ed Coleman. I'm the president and CEO of Westside Forward. Thank you for inviting me. And I want to say about the academy that's being built. Westside Forward is 100% in agreement that investments like the academy, which is a public investment, but also private investments, are critical to the economic future of Chicago's West Side. So we're in full support of that. For this specific project, we will be providing people with entrepreneurship aspirations. We will be training those people in how to really qualify for engaging in the construction activities that we're discussing today. So that training will involve, what does it take for you to really understand your financials? What kind of certifications do you really need, whether it be MBE, WBE? How to go about getting those certifications? What types of management processes will you need to put in place? It's critical that those who plan on participating as an entrepreneur, as a business owner or business operator, understand what it's going to take for them to successfully engage in that process. So we're going to be proactively seeking people to participate in the training and the preparation that we'll be delivering to folks, some of which has been mentioned already in terms of the MBE and WBE, but other things that are critical that you're going to really need to know to be successful in doing this. So appreciate the opportunity to engage in this process, and I'll turn it back to you, Daryl.
Well, thank you very much, Ed, but I do have a couple of questions, and I have the time to ask them right now and to address some of the questions that already populated the question and answer segment. One is just how quickly can this pre-qualification be done? Because there are a lot of people out there that want to be qualified in order to bid on some of the projects that are going forward with regard to the bid process.
So anybody who's really interested in being qualified, one of the first things they ought to be doing, if they're not MBE certified, they ought to
Yes.
be taking the steps to get that certification. The city of Chicago on their website has forms available that people will need to fill out to go through that process. Once you get that process, once you have passed that process, you're qualified for 5 years. So it's a matter of getting the forms from the city, completing the forms. It's a lot easier than it used to be. But you still have to go through the city's bureaucracy. I cannot promise for the city how long it's going to take for them to turn that over, but get that paperwork in as soon as possible. We at Westside Forward are here to help people in terms of giving them direction, what it's going to take for them to fill out that paperwork.
Indeed, because there are some people out here that, you know, have done extraordinary work and they haven't gone through that additional process in terms of certification or qualification, and we don't want them behind the 8 ball. So the reality here is, as early as tomorrow, get in contact with Ed's team or any member here in terms of all the leaders that are presenting today to start that process. Because once you do it, believe me, it'll qualify you not only for this project that we're working on, but you'll be qualified for 5 years on any project that the city or county does. It's just, you know, a rewarding type of endeavor for you to participate in. And we thank you for that information there, Ed.
You're very welcome.
There
Yes.
are a lot of that's you know, pertinent to the certification process. But as far as the trade tab qualification process goes, it's really quick. People have to just upload, you know, their information, and we do have people standing by to do that analysis right away. So it's a very quick process, so long as folks get on there and upload the information.
And this is empowering for people. And it's, you know, advice that I have to take to heart myself. So I'm going to be contacting the city to make sure that I take advantage of it with regard to my company. Moving on right now, it is a pleasure to bring on Erica Kirkwood. She's talking about workforce comments. Erica?
Hi, everyone. I am Erica Kirkwood with the joint venture of the general contractor on this project. We are very excited about our workforce commitments on this project and the impact it will have on providing opportunities for community residents, especially residents surrounding the project site. With that in mind, we have lofty workforce commitment goals. The total hours worked by people on this site by employees of the contractor and subcontractors shall be performed by at least 50% city residents and at least 15% by project area residents. Work hours performed by project area residents shall be considered to be work hours performed by city residents for purposes of calculating the minimum work hour percentage required to be performed by city residents. So these are some really lofty goals. On the slide here, you will see the neighborhoods that we're targeting. Of course, we're welcoming a lot of people from the city to work on these projects, but we're specifically hoping to get people from these local neighborhoods that are surrounding the project site to come and work on the job site.
What type of jobs are we talking about here when we talk about workforce?
So we're talking about trade positions. Yeah, so that's laborers, carpenters, painters, things like that.
Now, with regard to these local neighborhoods, will somebody from that local neighborhood receive an incentive in terms of a higher ranking if they happen to be from these neighborhoods that are highlighted?
A higher ranking in what aspect?
Well, in terms of consideration, sometimes I see 15% project area residents, and I'm just trying to understand that.
Well, we have these goals, so we are definitely looking to put these people to work. I don't want to say that there's a preference, because any qualified person will give them work, but we are targeting these specific areas, and our outreach will show that.
And talk about your expertise so people just know that you have skin in the game, so to speak, Erica.
expertise for this project?
Not only this project, but in terms of placement and workforce development.
Oh, well, our joint venture is comprised of four huge general contractors who hire people from the community every day. We are always looking for people who live in the communities that surround the work sites that we work at. In addition, we are very skilled at meeting these project goals on all of our projects that are in the city. So we are very skilled at accomplishing these goals and sometimes exceeding these goals.
Well, the thing that I like what you had just said is the fact that it's not just this one project that people can be considered for, but from what you said, it seems as though they can be considered for other projects there.
Yes, when you start working with a company, yes, there's a lot of opportunities that open up for you.
Yeah, well, it's all about opportunity, and we thank you for those comments there. Moving on right now, we heard from Erica. It's a pleasure to introduce to you Cynthia Williams. Cynthia, tell us about yourself and what you're doing with regard to workforce development resources.
Yeah. Good evening. Well, I'm Cynthia Williams. I'm the director of Austin People's Action Center, and here's where the excitement comes in. We represent the 5 organizations that are highlighted here. We have over 20 years of experience in the workforce and training industry. Austin People's Action Center, which is my agency that's located in the 37th Ward. Chicago Cook Workforce Partnership, Hire 360, Revolution Workshop, Chicago Women in Trades. We are ready to provide quality work readiness training and placement to help the residents of the city most vulnerable West Side community to engage in a plan that take part in the rebuilding of our own community. These individuals, when given the opportunity, will come ready to work in the rebuilding of their community. We are committed to training them to be ready for work. We hope our partners are ready to provide them with an opportunity. And we thank Alderman Emma Mitz, our West Side Shiro, for making this a community partnership and for giving us a seat at the table. And we look forward to making this a successful project.
Indeed, I'm particularly, you have about another minute there, Cynthia, and I'm particularly interested in terms of the piece that you talked about with regard to Chicago Women Who Work. I can't really see the bottom of the screen there, but in terms of your partner there.
I'm not sure which one he said.
Cynthia, it's Chicago Women.
Chicago Women in Trade.
In Trade, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
Well,
know.
you know, Chicago Women in Trade have been around for a number of years, and they have a pool of qualified minority candidates that is waiting in line. They already have a successful pool of women that we can pull from right now to this day. So we're looking forward to partnering with them as well. They're waiting at the table as well.
You've seen a lot of growth and a little bit of atrophy on the West Side during your years there over at the Austin People's Action Center. What excites you most about this project?
That the community is at the table, that they have invited us to be a partner on this project. That is most exciting to see, a 98 million project that we're being asked to be a part of, that our Black brothers and sisters will have an opportunity to bid. We'll have an opportunity for job opportunities, pre-apprenticeship training, and other opportunities. We're looking forward to working with some of the subcontractors who have already reached out to us and say, hey, what can we do? We want to become partners. So we're looking at that. We've already started some networking and some roundtable discussions with a number of companies who are interested in training some of our young people between the ages of 16 to 24. Matter of fact, in the next couple of weeks, we plan on working with individuals between the ages of 16 to 24. We already have job training slots where we'll be able to pay them $15 an hour to train them, to prepare them, to get them ready. So we're excited.
You know, and I can tell you that, you know, you and others that have spoke here that are community stakeholders, your pedigrees are without question. And for you to be excited about this project, I hope for those that are participating in this discussion will know that we are serious about empowering the community with that. That's my feeling there, Cynthia, and
Thank
I'm
you.
sticking to it.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure right now, a young man that works tirelessly to make sure that inclusion is at the top of this entire project, and that's Kendall Williams. Kendall, talk to us about the next steps.
Thank you so much, Daryl. So we've heard everyone speak about our subcontractor opportunities, about our workforce opportunities, about this project and what it really means to this community. It's very important to know for subcontractors, that's what this actual presentation is guided for, for our subcontractors. And we want all of our subcontractors to begin that pre-qualification process. So if you are interested in subcontracting opportunities, please reach out to me. My email was listed before, and we have a contact list afterwards that you can find that email and reach out to me, and I will send you an invitation to our system called TradeTap. And this is the system that we use that Casey mentioned earlier that pre-qualifies all of our subcontractors for the opportunities. Secondly, connecting with the workforce development programs. Cynthia Williams touched on a lot of the partnerships that we have with Hire 360, with Revolution Workshop, Austin People's Action Center. So it's a lot of different folks who are willing to engage and willing to help out with the workforce development, particularly for the folks in this community. Thirdly, we want you to stay tuned for our next outreach event. So again, this event was catered for our subcontractors, but we will be having future events that will be along more of the workforce. And then as the project progresses, we will be having more outreach and engagement type events, and also encourage you to stay engaged with the Alderman's office, stay in touch with her office, with the 37th Ward office, and all the updates that she has. And then finally, visit our website for updates. So we launched a website for this project, and it is www.jpstc, so Joint Public Safety Training Campus -chicago.com. So www.jpstc-chicago.com. That website is listed right there. So those will be the next steps if you're definitely interested in learning more about this project. Thank you.
Well, that sounds good. I have to thank all of our presenters today because you did it with such alacrity or speed that we have time to get to as many questions that have been included in our question and answer queue at the bottom of the screen there. I'm going to begin first with Client Lewis, and it says, if someone does not have MBE, WBE certification now, what's the likelihood of them being able to participate if they start the process now, meaning October 29th and November 1st?
Having MBE and WBE certification is not a requirement to participate necessarily. It is, you know, a goal that the project has, but it's not a requirement to participate. And I should say that, you know, that certification process, the MBE and the WBE, that's
extensive.
It is, from my understanding, but it's really through the certifying boards with the city and or Cook County. So you know, the JV doesn't really have much involvement necessarily in the actual certification process itself, although we are happy to help others if they need that help.
Did anybody else want to add to what she said?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I understand that a typical certification timeframe can be, this is estimated,
yeah,
at about 60 days from start to finish. So
Yeah,
if the person were to get started now, chances are by, you know, get all the paperwork in by early January, probably, they could get that certification.
But again, that does not preclude people from getting involved if they don't have the certification. And I want to be very clear that the certification of the MBE and the WBE is different than the pre-qualification process.
What are
so
the different? Why don't you give us, you know, if you can, an example of the differences there, because there are a lot of acronyms that are thrown out here, and it may, you know, confuse people in terms of saying, well, you know, pre-TAP, but MBE, WBE, and they're
Sure.
actually different entities.
Yep. So MBE and WBE are really typically government sanctioned certifying bodies. So City of Chicago or Cook County, the state of Illinois, there's federal entities as well that work through that. The pre-qualification process is really more at a job specific level that we as the JV work with in terms of identifying the market and the capabilities of the market. So, you know, again, you don't need the MBE or the WBE certification necessarily to participate on the project. It is encouraged, but everybody would have to go through the pre-qualification process to receive a contract on the project if they were successful.
And we do have
And I would, I'm sorry, I would add to that. If an owner operator of a company has a long-term ambition to be a supplier of products and services to the city of Chicago, then having that minority business enterprise or women's business enterprise certification is almost mandated for certain opportunities that they might want to go after. So they may not necessarily need it for what we're talking about in this project, but if they can get it, it probably makes sense to go after it.
Well, that sounds good. That's good advice there, Ed. Question here from anonymous.
Actually, can I add one more thing to that,
yeah, please
Daryl?
do. Go right
Yeah,
ahead.
I would like to add, this is Sean from AIS. I would just like to add that while groundbreaking is going to be starting this year, a vast majority of this work and packages is a ways out. For example, and Casey, you can correct me if I'm wrong, like if you're a drywaller, you're not going to be doing that work for over a year. So if this pre-qualification is desired, I fully support just do it now, because there's a very good chance you will get that done by the time your trade comes along.
That's very good advice there. Question from an anonymous attendee is, does my company have to be located in Chicago or the local county to apply for MBE? Ed?
I believe, and again, I'm speaking from memory, I believe that you can be from outside the city and go after a city certification.
Yeah.
You can do business in the city and not have a city address.
Okay.
As an MBE.
Does anybody want to add to that? Because we want to make sure that we thoroughly try to answer these people's questions. With that said, going to move on to the next, and it is it at least 50%, 15, or a minimum of 15% for community involvement for the jobs? I kind of touched on this earlier, but I guess they would like clarification there.
So these are our goals for the project. Those are not the minimums. These are our
Those are, okay, the goals of the joint venture then.
yes, they're not the minimum. The minimum is lower.
Okay, very good. Another question, this time from Darian King. Will we be able to get information on the list of attendees to this webinar? Kendall? Once again, will we be able to get information on the list of attendees to this webinar? I don't know about the list, but you can definitely get information on the presenters.
Yeah,
we do have the list of information of all the presenters, and there's a slide at the end, and we'll end with, and that lists all of the contact information of all the presenters.
Okay, very good. Next question here is from Jay Reese. Says, hi there. For those of us submitting applications to submit a bid, There are certain questions that don't apply to companies like mine. How can we address these hiccups so that an MBE may be able to apply? Let's try
Without
to,
knowing the specific
of their company.
example, I would say just reach out to one of us and we can walk you through whatever that situation is.
Yeah, Jay, and also if you want to update information with regard to your area of expertise, we would be better able to provide you with a more thorough answer there. Moving on to Shirley Bassett, it says that she is president. Here we go. President of Bryan Design and Remodeling, and she doesn't have a question, but we do have one from Tito, and it says, do you have to be a union signature company to be part of this work?
Yeah, like the majority of City of Chicago work, it is there is a PLA on the project, so that organizations would have to be signatory.
Okay, that's a good answer, succinct there. Another question here from M. Monray. Will the subcontractors be bidding direct for this project?
Yes.
Okay. Did you want to elaborate any more? But that's just, I guess, for those that are in the know there, they know exactly what you're talking about. Shirley comes on and says, what benefit would some contractors outside those city or project areas have in applying, and what are their chances of being awarded a bid?
We would, so, you know, the award criteria will be based on lowest responsive bidder. You know, part of being responsive to this is the MBE, the WBE requirements, as well as the footprint goals and City of Chicago goals. So contractors are encouraged, highly encouraged, to make note of that. With our bidding documents, we do ask that that information get broken down. So you know, it's really on the basis of the lowest responsive, and that's a very important term, responsive bidder.
Mm-hmm. That sounds good. Thanks, Casey, there. From client Lewis, it says, what are specific dates we need to be made aware of? I saw a slide that lists the dates, stages for bid packs 1 through 4. I wonder if timelines are listed so we know how much time we have between phases to participate. Mr. Pulpis, I don't know if he's able to answer that, or the other answer that we have is that we do have specific dates listed on that slide that we presented. Does anybody else want to add to that, Kendall or Casey? In terms of those packs?
Yep, so right now the bid pack number 2, which had the site and civil work, we're looking at going out for bid in the next week or so. And contractors will get about a month or so to bid that package. Mm-hmm. And so roughly, and I can't remember, I want to say mid to late November, we have the next package coming out, the core and shell. And so in about a month after that, the final package will be released for bid. So all of the work will be bid out over the next month and a half, with the idea of all contracts awarded within the next 2.5, 3 months.
Okay, so it's a process that you have to work quickly on there. And once again, everybody that is participating in this webinar, you're going to have access to that slide, so that way you are informed with regard to the dates that we're talking about. Moving on here, we have Kevin Jones, and Kevin is asking the question, and I just saw his question there. Hold on for 1 second. Okay. And Kevin asked the question. He says, my name is Kevin Jones, and I am a managing member with Carl Bibbs. We are a minority supplier and consulting company. We represent some major corporations for concrete doors and locks and tempered glass. How do we meet with the developers to see if our specs are good for them? Who wants to take that?
Kevin, I can take that. We are, our partner, JV partnership is, we're a design build delivery on this. So we also control the design. So we can get, Kevin, we can get you linked up with our design side, and you can speak with them about your products and whether or not they make sense for the project.
And I hope that answers your question there, Kevin. Moving on, this is from Darian Davis. It says, I'm a felon. Can I work with you through the program?
Cynthia, do you want to take that one?
Cynthia, are you there?
I'm sorry, repeat the question again.
Yeah, the question is, says, if I am a felon, can I work with you through the program?
I can start the question from the perspective of the JV. We hire subcontractors, so we can't really weigh in on that. A lot of that is really subject to the subcontractor requirements and or the union labor requirements. But from the JV perspective, I don't know that we could answer that. But Cynthia, maybe you have some more insight.
Well, the good news is our agency, Austin People's Action Center, can. Right now, we actually have some slots available for individuals between the ages of 16 to 24. And those are older. We provide training as well. We take those who have a record or, so yes, we would be glad to work with you.
Okay, that answers that. Thanks for that question there, Darian. Moving on right now to Darian King. He says, I'm Darian King, president of Robbins Insurance Agency. Has the insurance provider for the project been chosen by the city? If not, when will it be bid? And if so, Sean and I, or Sean or Casey, he'd like to know.
We unfortunately, we have insurance folks already teed up at a corporate level. So that for us, it happens at a corporate level across the country. But I don't see any reason why you may not be able to team up with some of the subcontracting community.
And then in terms of the city's stance, this is the site is actually will be in the care and control of the joint venture, and once the project is complete in 2022, our city insurance will kick in. So I don't know if that really answers their question, but that has already been set up.
Excellent. Thank you for that information. Anonymous attendee, it says that if my company doesn't fall under the category of having 10 employees, essentially not requiring OSHA/EMR scores, how can we address in the application process so that we are not alienated from participating?
We actually sat in on a pre-qual with a local contractor earlier this week, and this very question was asked. And in TradeTap, you can upload a blank document. It will be flagged as part of the review process, and so that's how you get around it. But you will have to be prepared to talk more about your safety record as it relates to your specific organization.
Excellent. I don't want to leave anybody out. If you do have a question, we have some 62 participants, and you may have already had your concerns or questions addressed, but it appears that we are at the end of the question and answer period. We want to thank all of you for participating today. This has been a unique opportunity to get information about this fantastic joint venture. We want to thank all of our panelists, including Mayor Lightfoot and Unfortunately, due to some concerns beyond our power, we couldn't hear from representatives from the public safety sector. But we can understand that because we're living in a city that takes precedence over this particular meeting. We want to tell you again that everything that was presented during this particular webinar is going to be available for you. So if you felt as though you weren't able to hear everything that was said or jot down information from one of the slides presented, don't worry about it, because we will be emailing you a recorded version of this particular webinar. With that said, it is my pleasure to thank all of you, all of our panelists, all of our attendees, everyone associated with this project for your interest here. Please, please be aware of these deadlines and go out there and participate. This is for you. You are our community. You are our subcontractors. You're the reason why we held this particular event. And we thank you so much for participating. Take care, everybody.